Welcome back to Victoria 3. This is the Austria into Germany campaign. We continue into the late game with a bunch of infamy wars, so let's get going. So the world powers are beginning to get a little bit concerned about Germany's expansion, and France is making a diplomatic play here. Looks like Russia and Italy are also on the fence. Let's see what we can maybe get out of this if we win the war. Yeah, Russia and Italy on the fence, so they haven't committed yet to France. We are on the eve of war, and still Russia and Italy are staying out. We've decided to try to liberate Italy and see if that makes them stay on the fence. So here we begin one of the infamy wars as France has decided to try to cut Germany down in size. Let's see how we can do. And here's our first battle against the French. Not going too well to start things off. We finally passed multiculturalism, so that should be a boost to our economy and pops in general. Heavy fighting on the French and German border. The French also on the move in German Somaliland. So even though we are losing ground to the French want to sign peace. I think they were losing too many men, and their economy was too weakened by the war. So we end up gaining some territory out of that too. The French signed peace just in time for us to deal with the Russian threat of war now, as they try to make a diplomatic play. For some reason, they thought better to try to go on their own instead of siding with the French. And yeah, infamy over 100, and that is what's causing all the infamy wars. And France and Italy on the fence. If Russia was thinking that the French and the Italians would join them, they were sorely mistaken. We've decided to try to liberate Poland and conquer Volhynia as our war demands as we go toe-to-toe with the Russians. As you can see, we've already advanced right into Poland and pushing the Russians relatively easily in this war. The Germans reaching deep into Russian lands up to the state of Brest. German High Command has offered to march north towards Lithuania and the Baltic states onto Smolensk, and the Russians have finally capitulated. And the map of the world has been redrawn in 1886, as you can see. So going into 1886, the Presidential Republic of Germany, headed by Otto von Bismarck, is a pariah to the world, being attacked by both France and Russia in consecutive wars. But we have we have gone ahead and defeated both foes. We've released Poland as a nation. We're going to try to get them into our sphere of influence. So we'll work on that. I don't know if we want to do it diplomatically or by force. But we do have a truce with them, so we shall see. And they are antagonistic towards us, as they deservedly so should see us as a foe. It is the USA's turn to make a diplomatic play against us, trying to cut Germany down in size. So the United States did back down, yielding, I think, their small colony in the Congo to us. And Great Britain now wants to turn at a diplomatic play against us to cut us down in size. Let's see if we can add Canada to one of our war goals and have the British transfer them to us as a subject. So war does break out between Great Britain and Germany. Let's see if we can't do a naval invasion. It might be risky against the British Navy, but we're going to try. Looks like we might be able to do a naval invasion in Scotland, so we're going to try that. We do have our first battle, our first naval invasion, but it looks like we'll get repulsed. So we're going to attempt several different naval invasions. Yeah, so we have 3 separate naval invasions, 1 in Scotland and 2 in Ireland. We'll see if we have any luck with that. Let's see if an invasion of Africa would work. And the British have landed on the Dalmatian coast. Unfortunately, my high command did not notify me about any amphibious invasion happening. It would have been nice to know or get some kind of alert from our staff command that British troops have landed on the coast. But we'll make do with it and try to repel them. Luckily for us, we have been able to make a beachhead in Africa, so we are driving the British in West Africa. This might be the largest number of battalions in a battle I've seen to date. 121 British battalions versus over 100 German battalions. Looks like the British are going to win this one. We've managed to reduce the British amphibious invasion to the Austria region. Are about to claim another victory. They are offering white peace, but we're going to see if we can at least get war reparations from them. We've decided to invade Newfoundland, and looks like we'll be successful there. Currently in the war against the British, we've been able to take their African colonies. We failed in our attempt to take the British islands, but we now invade the Canadian coastland. So we settled just for the war reparations. The cost of the war was just getting too much for us, so we'll have the British pay for our losses. Now I got to deal with a Bosnian revolt. I'm interested in this Occitan uprising, but we're going to stay out of this mess right now because our economy is crap. So we're going to fix that. France is disintegrating. They lost the Occitan uprising, and now there's a Breton uprising. The U.S. makes another play on Germany. France has decided to back the United States. Interesting, since they have been torn apart by the uprisings in their nation, but we'll go with it. So this time, the U.S. has managed to get a nice coalition of Italy and France involved in their war against Germany. So a war breaks out. The U.S., France, Italy versus Germany and her allies. We have a couple of naval invasions to finish this war off against the United States. We repelled the French, and they gave us Kenya as a war goal. We knocked the Italians out. We didn't demand anything from them. First naval invasion near Washington, D.C. is going to be thrown back into the sea. Better luck in Georgia, as we will be able to get a beachhead, it looks like. So the Germans are able to get a beachhead on the Georgian Florida coast. Let's see if we can hold it. Looking good. Americans haven't seen any kind of warfare quite like this. They call it some kind of blitzkrieg or something. So this very long war against the United States is causing all kinds of havoc on them. They have a Afro-American uprising as a result of this long and continuous warfare. Finally, the Americans capitulate. Here we are, April 3rd, 1898. Why don't we take a look at some numbers before moving on? Germany ranks number 1 world power with almost 5,000 prestige, 431 GDP. Standard of living is kind of an embarrassing 13.1 standard of living, but in our defense, we've been in constant warfare now for probably the past 10 years or so, as the coalitions have started forming up, unrelenting, not giving Germany a chance to explain herself. That drop in standard of living since a lot of the wars were started, you can see that in the graph right here. Now, that is causing us to not make any improvement on our radical situation. Yes, our radical situation is pretty radical. That said, we're going to do the best we can to minimize that impact. As we are trying to build clothes, we're just going to focus on all kinds of standard of living items for our pops. We're just going to go gung-ho with clothes, liquor, furniture, you name it. If they need it, we're going to provide it for them. And the wars are impacting our migration for sure. The drop in standard of living and the constant warfare. People are like, we are out of here. We cannot take this anymore. We are going to greener pastures. Actually, everyone is moving to West Africa and Brazil. Not even the United States is doing that well. Already starting to make some improvements with the radicals and quality of life, just by lowering the war taxes. Interesting war between Britain and Russia. Looks like Russia was supporting the East India Company revolt. So Great Britain said, hey now, what do you think? What's the big idea, Russia? Current scramble for Africa right now. After the coalition wars, we have gained more African colonies, and we are trying to expand and block the other powers from colonizing even more themselves. We do have a Czech secession crisis happening, and Great Britain is getting ready to make a diplomatic play against us as well again. So perfect timing for that. I guess our short-lived peace is over. So it looks like everyone sees an opportunity. Here's the Czech uprising. So we'll have to also intervene there. So the Dutch and the Swiss have joined Great Britain. Belgium and Spain are also mobilizing. We were going to try to hold back on some of our conscripted units, but we're just going to call them all up. So we are dealing with fronts everywhere. In Moravia, Switzerland, Netherlands, and in Africa as well. So we are spread out. Looks like the French have joined the Czechs in their bid for independence. Things getting very interesting now. War 1 of 3 have started. So the Czech uprising rises. Here are the fronts in Europe. We have the Bohemian front, where we're going to we hope to knock out the Czechs as fast as possible. We've already made some ground in Switzerland, amazingly. Trying to hold the line against France the best we can on a defensive maneuver, and we are on the offense against the Dutch in the Netherlands. In Africa, we are making progress against the Dutch colony in Central Africa. The British are making some gains in Southern Africa against us. We have almost occupied the Netherlands completely and Bohemia, plus half of Switzerland. We are holding the line against the overwhelming number of French, so the defensive campaign is somewhat successful, although we're about to lose a battle here. Getting close to a victory against the Czech uprising, which will free up a lot of men to deal with the British, which we have a slight advantage against them. So the Czech Republic capitulates, or Bohemia capitulates, but the French stay in the war. They have their own war goals. The Swiss has capitulated. Oh no, the Karen uprising. Watch out. So finally all those wars are over. Of course Italy is going to try to go to war against us. Russia, Spain, and Occitania are also leaning in favor. We're going to try to get something out of this war against Italy. Our forces outmatch them. Now they do have Spain joining them, which bolsters their number, but the quality of their troops are awful. We are winning the war against Italy and Spain, but it's slow progress, but we definitely are pushing their forces back. We are starting to overrun the Italian forces throughout the mainland of Italy. You can see the discrepancy in the quality of arms. Italy capitulates, but Spain remains in the war, so we're going to have to probably do an amphibious invasion of the Iberia Peninsula. Invading Spain from several different locations. Spain finally capitulates and gives us war reparations. Thanks for watching the latest episode in the Austria into Germany campaign. If you did enjoy that episode, feel free to follow the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you did like it, hit that like button. I do appreciate everyone's time watching the video. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.